Hello everybody, it is JT Sports and back to you guys with another video. This video, I'm here with my NFL Week 16 picks and predictions against the spread. Before I get into it, make sure that you guys hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I upload NFL videos and college football videos daily. Also, a lot of you guys are always asking, what is the best way to support the channel? The best way to support the channel is by hitting that thumbs up button because it helps this video rank higher in the YouTube search algorithm and in SEO. And also, when you subscribe to the channel, you get me one subscriber closer to my goal of 20,000 subscribers. So a lot of you guys have been asking me to do my picks and predictions against the spread all year. I plan on doing this every single week when the 2021 NFL season kicks off. But I say, hey, why not start now? Better later than never. So the first game that we have to talk about the Minnesota Vikings, who are currently 6-8, going on the road to take on the 10-4 New Orleans Saints. Last week, Minnesota lost to the Chicago Bears 33-27, and their playoff hopes at this point are all but over. Okay, unless barring a miracle happens, if they don't win this game, they're pretty much going to be officially eliminated from playoff contention. Even if they do win this game, their chances of making it to the playoffs are still pretty slim unless Arizona loses out and Chicago loses out. And Arizona has to play the 49ers, and the Chicago Bears have to play the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are currently taking for Trevor Lawrence. But for the Minnesota Vikings, if you are a Vikings fan, you still have something to play for at this point of the season. Meanwhile, for the Saints, you're trying to win this game so you can keep pace with the Green Bay Packers and trying to get that #1 overall seed in the NFC come playoff time, which you desperately need because Drew Brees doesn't look like he's still 100%, and Michael Thomas is out as well, which he will be ready come playoff time, but you will also like the added week of rest so he can be fully 110% come divisional round if you're able to get that #1 seed from the Green Bay Packers, who currently play the Tennessee Titans this week. The Saints are a 7-point favorite in this game. I'm going to take them to win this game outright, and I'm going to take them to cover as well. The Saints defense has played pretty well over the last couple of weeks this year. I think that they should be able to slow down this Minnesota Vikings offense, even though this offense is going to put up points. I do expect Dalvin Cook to get his, but at the end of the day, I think the Saints defense should force a couple of turnovers in this game, and it should help out this offense a lot. Drew Brees last week, that was his first game back in the last couple of weeks. Taysom Hill has been the starting quarterback for the Saints in his absence. He looked a little bit rusty. He started the game off a little bit slow. He picked things up and he picked his performance up in the second half, but it was a little bit too late for the Saints to climb back into that game against Kansas City and ended up losing. I think Drew Brees should be a lot better this week against the Minnesota Vikings, who their defense has played pretty well for the month of December, but their defense isn't as good as Kansas City's defense. So I think Drew Brees should have a better performance this week than he had last week against Kansas City. Next up, we have the Buccaneers going on the road to take on the 5-9 Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions last week got thrashed and ran all over by the Tennessee Titans, and their playoff hopes officially came to an end with that loss. But for the Detroit Lions, you still have things to play for. If you are a player, you're playing so you can hit some of those incentives on your contract. You're playing to see if you're going to get a spot on the Detroit Lions roster come next year. If the Detroit Lions bring in a new coaching staff, a new general manager, you want to try to make a good impression. So for the Buccaneers, on the other hand, you're not a 0.5-point favorite heading into this game. You're trying to solidify your spot in the playoffs with a win against the Detroit Lions. I think that the Buccaneers defense is going to be able to slow down Detroit's offense, even though I think that Detroit should be able to put up a little bit of points on the scoreboard against the Buccaneers defense. But all in all, I think the Buccaneers should win this game outright, and I'm going to take them to cover that 9.5 as well. Next up, we have the 49ers taking on the Arizona Cardinals. This is a really important game for Arizona. If Arizona loses this game and Chicago, like we expect them to do, beat the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are tanking for Trevor, they could find themselves on the outside looking in on the playoffs come playoff time. So if you're Arizona, you desperately need to win this game because you don't want to. At this point, Arizona controls their own destiny. Meanwhile, if they lose this game and Chicago wins, your destiny is pretty much in the hands of you and the Chicago Bears. And this is not going to be an easy victory for the Arizona Cardinals. To remind you that they are a 5-point favorite in this game. The 49ers, despite the fact that they have been beat down with injuries all this year, have not been an easy out. You expect a team that has had the majority of their star players out for the whole entire season, basically, due to injuries, but not the 49ers because they have one of the best coaching staffs in the NFL. Robert Saleh is your defensive coordinator. You have Kyle Shanahan as your head coach. When you have a well-coached team, you're never going to be counted out of any game. So if you're a Cardinals fan, this is not going to be a guaranteed victory. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take the 49ers with the upset. I think the 49ers are going to be able to upset the Arizona Cardinals. I understand that Nick Mullins is injured, but he wasn't all that great to begin with. CJ Beathard is pretty solid. And you look at the Arizona Cardinals, I understand that they may be the better team right now because they're fully healthy. Arizona doesn't have the injury concerns that the 49ers have, but I think the 49ers are going to be able to sneak one and pull an upset victory off against the Arizona Cardinals, and I'm going to take them with the under as well. Arizona got the victory early on in the season against the 49ers. I think the 49ers get some revenge late in the year. I think that the 49ers are going to cover. I'm going to take them with the under, and I'm going to take them to win this game. We got the Miami Dolphins taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. In terms of playoff implications in the AFC, it doesn't get no bigger than this game here. You have the Dolphins who are 9-5, and you have the Las Vegas Raiders who are 7-7. For the Las Vegas Raiders, they lost to the LA Chargers Thursday night, 30-27 in overtime. The Las Vegas Raiders, a loss here ends their playoff hopes. And for the Miami Dolphins, you're trying to win this game. You're trying to hold on to dear life to that 7th seed because you have the Baltimore Ravens who are right behind your trail, who have a pretty easy schedule to close out the season. So for the Dolphins, a win here still doesn't guarantee you a spot in the playoffs, but it does kind of still show the fact that you still control your own destiny if you're able to win out. For the Las Vegas Raiders, my biggest concern is their defense. They're going to be matched up against rookie quarterback Tua Tagovailoa, who was able to get the Miami Dolphins a victory over the New England Patriots last week, 22-12. More do so because of his ability to run the football with his legs. And we already know what Bill Belichick does against young rookie quarterbacks. He gives them a pretty tough time. So for Tua Tagovailoa, Brian Flores, and his Miami Dolphins team, you're facing a Las Vegas Raiders team that defense doesn't have a soul at all. Now, Derek Carr, don't really know what his status is going into this game, but I'm under the speculation that Marcus Mariota is going to get the start. Marcus Mariota looked really good when he came in replace of the injured Derek Carr in his game against the LA Chargers last week. I'm pretty sure the Miami Dolphins are going to be able to make some adjustments on defense, and I'm not expecting Marcus Mariota to replicate the performance that he had last week against the Chargers, this week against the Miami Dolphins, who have one of the best defenses in the NFL. The team I'm going to take to win, I'm taking the Dolphins to win. I'm going to take them to cover. They're a 3-point favorite. They should be able to win this one pretty comfortably. I don't think this game is going to be a blowout or anything like that, but I do think that the Dolphins should win this game by at least 2 possessions. Give me the Dolphins to win. 27-17 is my final score prediction in this game. We have the 10-4 Cleveland Browns taking on the 1-13 New York Jets. The New York Jets are a 9.5-point underdog heading into this game. They got their first win of the season last week, surprising everybody with the biggest upset in the NFL so far this season when they beat the Rams 23-20. Never saw that coming. I'm pretty sure 99.9% of you guys didn't see that coming. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you New York Jets fans didn't see that coming, nor did you want it to happen because you wanted to still be in that #1 spot so you could draft Trevor Lawrence. Now with that loss, you set yourself back. Now the Jacksonville Jaguars have the #1 overall pick in their grasp. So if they lose out, they end up drafting Trevor Lawrence. For the Cleveland Browns, you're trying to win this game because you have a chance to win this division. With the way that the Pittsburgh Steelers have played and with the way that the Steelers are going to be playing against the Indianapolis Colts, the Indianapolis Colts defense that's really good, a Colts team that's clicking on all cylinders, with the Steelers most likely expected to lose that game, you set yourself up for a winner-takes-all matchup next week, Week 17, which the winner of that game, if the Steelers lose to the Indianapolis Colts this week, is going to decide who ends up winning the AFC North. I'm taking the Browns to cover, and I'm taking them to win outright as well. Colts, Steelers. Colts are 10-4. The Steelers are 11-3. The Colts have been one of the hottest teams in the NFL in the month of December. T.Y. Hilton, some way, somehow, has awoken from his slumber. After being pretty irrelevant all year, he has decided to finally emerge as a legitimate weapon for Phillip Rivers. Better late than never, I guess. You also got rookie Michael Pittman, who's been really good as well. But what the Colts want to do is they want to run the ball down your throat. That's what they want to do. And they should be able to do so. When you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, yes, this defense has been really good, despite the injuries that they had to Devin Bush and Robert Spillane, their backup linebacker. They're based on their third-string linebackers at this point of the year. This is a banged-up Pittsburgh Steelers team. But even though this defense is banged up, this is still one of the best defenses in the NFL. But this defense still hasn't been all that great against the run since the first time they played the Baltimore Ravens a month and a half ago. So you have the Colts team that loves to run the football. They should be able to establish the run game. But when it comes down to it, is Phillip Rivers going to be able to make enough plays necessary to help this Colts team get a victory over a Steelers offense that is struggling to move the ball down the field? They're struggling to convert on third down. And it looks like they're even struggling to get a first down or to even get a yard because they can't run the football. Even though they had a pretty successful time running the football last weekend, their surprising upset loss to the Cincinnati Bengals, that's pretty much the only thing that they had going for them. So for this offense, you're going to have your work cut out for you, because you're facing the best defense that you may have faced all this year in the Indianapolis Colts. They're pretty good against the run, and they're also really good against the pass as well. And you look at the injuries that Pittsburgh has had on the offensive line, doesn't really look like this is going to be an easy victory for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Colts are a 1.5-point favorite as of right now to win this game. I have a lot of confidence in the world, despite being a Steelers fans, that the Colts are going to be able to pull off this victory, because I can't trust the Steelers. It's hard for me to say that as a Steelers fan, but the Colts have a really good defensive line. Pittsburgh's offensive line has struggled. Now, I believe that the Colts have a couple of key injuries on their offensive line as well, and that is something that the Steelers could exploit. But all in all, I just don't trust the Steelers offense to be able to put up enough points to beat the Colts. I think this should be a pretty low-scoring game. I think Indianapolis wins this one. 17-10 is my final score prediction. Take the Colts to win outright, and I like them to cover as well. The Green Bay Packers are going to be at home taking on the Tennessee Titans. This is my game of the week. There are major playoff implications for both of these two teams. For the Tennessee Titans, you're trying to win the AFC South. You're going to need some help. You're going to need Pittsburgh to beat the Indianapolis Colts. And you're going to need a victory against a really good Green Bay Packers team, which the Green Bay Packers at 11-3 currently are the front runner with the #1 overall seed in the NFC as of right now. They want to win this game so they can clinch that #1 overall seed come next week and have a bye week come playoff time. Meanwhile, for the Titans, they're pretty much out of the mix in terms of a first-round bye, but they do want to win this AFC South division, so they do have an opportunity to have a home field wild card game. So that's what the Titans are playing for. You look at Green Bay. My biggest question about Green Bay in this game is going to be, are they going to be able to stop the running game? That has been one of the biggest problems that Green Bay's defense has had all this year. And when you look at what Green Bay has done against physical teams like Tennessee, they haven't really failed all that well. You look at their loss to the Indianapolis Colts. The Indianapolis Colts are a really physical football team. The Packers have struggled against football teams built like the Tennessee Titans that are good running the football and can also really give you a challenge up front with how physical they are. So I want to see if Green Bay is finally going to be able to overcome their struggles of being able to beat physical football teams. I don't know. Right now, the Packers are a 3.5-point favorite to win this game. I am going to have to take the Tennessee Titans with the upset. I'm going to take them to win this game, and I'm going to take them with the under. The reason why is because Tennessee is a physical football team. Although their defense hasn't been great, with the ability of them being able to run the football with Derrick Henry, who has been really, really scorching hot as of late. We saw what happened around this time last year when Tennessee got hot in December in 2019. They went all the way into the AFC Championship game before losing to Kansas City. So in the month of December, that's when this Tennessee Titans team really starts to hit their strides. That's when they really start to get rolling. That's when Derrick Henry looks like a superhero out there. He looks like nobody can bring him down. And for the Green Bay Packers, they struggle to stop the run all year. With Tennessee being able to run the football, they're going to be able to keep Aaron Rodgers and company off the field, which is going to help out that defense, which has struggled all year. I think Tennessee pulls off the upset against Green Bay at Lambeau. The Atlanta Falcons going on the road to face the Kansas City Chiefs. The Atlanta Falcons are a 10.5-point underdog, and rightfully so heading into this game. But I think that this is a game that you can't overlook. You saw what Atlanta did to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last week. They gave them a scare. They beat the Las Vegas Raiders a couple of weeks ago. The Atlanta Falcons are no gimme. I know a lot of Chiefs fans think this game could be a blowout, and it really could, but I have a strong suspicion in my mind that Kansas City will win this game, but I don't think they're going to cover that 10.5. I think that this game could be a lot closer than what a lot of us expect. You look at how Kansas City has played over the last couple of weeks. Yes, you got a really good win against the New Orleans Saints, even though it was a little bit closer than, you know, what we thought it was going to be at the start of the game. It looked like it was going to be a blowout. You struggled to beat the Denver Broncos. You also struggled to beat the Carolina Panthers. So I think that this is a Kansas City Chiefs team that is vulnerable. You know, they're still really good. They're still the best team in the AFC. I still think that they are the favorite in my book to make it to the Super Bowl this year. But I do think something tells me in my gut feeling that the Atlanta Falcons are going to give the Kansas City Chiefs a little bit of a challenge. Kansas City is still going to win this game, but I'm going to take the under with Atlanta. The 7-7 Chicago Bears are going to be facing the 1-13 Jacksonville Jaguars on the road in Jacksonville. Chicago right now is looking to make a playoff push. They've gotten really hot as of late out of nowhere when it seems like their season was falling apart, mainly due to how good they have been running the football with Dave Montgomery. Where you're facing Jacksonville Jaguars, who don't want to win games. They might be without their best player, James Robinson, who is currently listed on the injury report as questionable, so he may not play. You look at the Chicago Bears defense going against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who have one of the worst offenses in the NFL. This should be a blowout. Chicago is a 7.5-point favorite. I'm going to take them to win this game outright, and I'm going to take them to cover as well as they move to 8-7 on the year if everything goes to plan. The New York Giants facing the Baltimore Ravens. The New York Giants are trying to keep pace with the Washington football team, who the Washington football team currently has one game up on every team in this division. They could lose because they face the Carolina Panthers without Alex Smith. Meanwhile, for the Giants, you have to face the Baltimore Ravens, a Baltimore Ravens team that's trying to make a late playoff push as well, currently with a 9-5 record. And with the Baltimore Ravens, you need some help if you're going to be able to make it into the playoffs. If the Ravens want to make it into the playoffs, you're going to need the Miami Dolphins to lose a game, and they're going to have to be able to win out the rest of their games, which they should be able to do. I'm going to take the Baltimore Ravens to win this game, and I'm going to take them to cover as well. They are 11-point favorite. The Giants have a great defense, which should keep them in this game, but I just don't expect them to do anything offensively, and I don't think they're going to be able to score enough points. I don't even think that they're going to be able to crack 14 points to win this game, and I'll be extremely surprised if they crack double-digit points in this game. Now, like I said earlier, the New York Giants have a really good defense. They're really good against the pass. They're really good to stop the run, but I don't trust them to be able to score any points offensively, especially if Colt McCoy is going to be starting this week against the Ravens. Bengals Texans. The Bengals had one of the biggest upsets of the season when they upset the Pittsburgh Steelers on Monday Night Football 27-17. They're going to be traveling on the road to face the Houston Texans, who are 4-10, who battled really hard against the Indianapolis Colts, but it was close but no cigar. They lost that game 27-20. The Texans are an 8-point favorite. I'm taking the Texans to win. Cincinnati, although their offense looked really good against the Steelers, well, not even really good. Like, they benefited from the turnovers and how lackluster of a performance that the Steelers had offensively. I think that the Texans should be able to win this game and win this game pretty comfortably. I'm taking the Texans to win 24-7 is my final score prediction in this game. Next up, we have the 5-9 Denver Broncos taking on the 5-9 LA Chargers. This is a really interesting game because for Anthony Lynn, his future hinges on what he does for the remainder games of this season. If he ends up winning this game and ends up winning next week, week 17, and the Chargers finish the season out 7-9, I think that there is an 85% chance that he could return as head coach for the LA Chargers in 2021. Remind you that he recently signed an extension earlier this year, back in February, which is a one-year extension that will keep him under contract with the LA Chargers through 2021. Now, you got Vic Fangio. His job is pretty much safe for next year. You have a Broncos team that got destroyed by the Buffalo Bills, 48-19, which we all expected. This is a game that I'm really interested in seeing who's going to step up, the Denver Broncos defense or the LA Chargers offense. The Chargers right now have been really hot. They are a 3-point favorite. I'm going to take them to cover, and I'm going to take them to win outright. Carolina taking on the Washington football team. Carolina is an interesting team because although that they are 4-10, they are a lot better than what their record may indicate. You may ask JT, how is that? Well, the reason being is because Carolina, although they're 4-10, they haven't really got blown out by anybody as of late. Like, they've been pretty competitive in their last couple of games. You have to give your hats off to Matt Rule and the job that he's done his first year in Carolina. This Carolina Panthers team, they compete. And you look at Washington, they're going to be without Alex Smith. So you're going to have Dwayne Haskins at quarterback. So you're going to have to, once again, rely on your defense to win a game for you. Washington fans are probably going to say, JT, Dwayne Haskins was really good in the second half against Seattle, which he was. But I still think that if Washington wants to win this game, it's going to hinge on the performance of their defense. This game could very well be an upset. Washington is only a 2.5-point favorite to win this game. But I'm going to take Washington to pull off the victory, and I'm going to take them to cover as well. I think this game could be fairly close when you look at how lackluster Washington's offense is, and Carolina's defense is no slouch. Okay, Carolina's defense going against Washington's offense, I don't think that's a matchup that Washington can exploit. So I wouldn't be surprised if Carolina ends up winning this game, but I think that Washington's defense should be able to hold Carolina's offense, and Washington should at least be able to do enough to win this game. This game is going to be ugly. It's not going to be pretty. I think Washington wins 13-7 is my final score prediction in this game. Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Dallas Cowboys. The NFC least is starting to heat up. You have Washington right now who is 6-8. They're going to be without Dwayne. They're going to be without Alex Smith. Dwayne Haskins is going to get the start. So Washington finds a way to lose to Carolina. Whoever wins this game is going to have the opportunity to have a chance to win this division. Philadelphia is 4-9-1. I don't really know what happens with the tie, like how that's going to affect the division, things like that. I still think that they have to win out if they even want a chance. Both of these teams have to win out if they want to have a chance, but they're 4-9-1. Don't really know what the division will look like if Washington loses and the Philadelphia Eagles win. They go to 5-9-1 with that tie. Really don't know. But meanwhile, for Dallas, if they win this game, 6-9, they have a chance to win this division. Week 17, like I said, Washington is really vulnerable right now because they don't have an offense. They have Dwayne Haskins at quarterback. They're only relying on pure defense. Meanwhile, Dallas, you're starting to heat up as well. And a lot of people are really sleeping on the Dallas Cowboys like nobody's surprised. But like I said, all it takes is one win, and you can easily find yourself in the hunt to win this division. So the Cowboys, the Eagles, whoever loses this game, this division, in terms of them being able to have a chance of winning it, is going to be over for them. So, I like the Eagles. I like the Eagles. They are a favorite in this game by 2.5 points. I like them to cover, and I like them to win outright. I think they are a better team than the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys have a pretty good offense, but I don't trust that defense. That defense can't stop the run. They aren't really that great against the pass. Philadelphia has a pretty solid defense, and with Jalen Hurts at quarterback, they look more improved. Not only in terms of how they just perform on offense, but also the fact that he's able to utilize his legs, which helps out in the running game as well. And Dallas hasn't been able to stop the run all year. They should be able to run the ball down Dallas' throat. They should be able to keep Dallas off the field, and they should win this game and cover. The LA Rams coming off a big upset, the biggest upset of the NFL season when they lost to the New York Jets, who at the time didn't have a win to their name. They lost 23-20 some way, somehow. And for them, this is a must-win game. This is the division, basically. If Seattle wins, they pretty much clinch the division. They lock up the NFC West. For the Rams, a loss here, you fall to 9-6. And the wild card race is wide open again because you have the Chicago Bears who are getting hot at the right time. The Chicago Bears, if they're not able to take that 7th seed from Arizona, they could take that playoff spot from you. So I don't know what Jared Goff is going to show up. I know that the Rams defense is going to show up. The Rams defense has showed up every single week. But for Jared Goff, he's been consistently inconsistent. You don't know what kind of performance you're going to get out of Jared Goff on a week-to-week basis. If Seattle is able to take care of the football like they did last time, I think that they should win this game. The last time they played, Russell Wilson had a handful of turnovers. Jared Goff did, you know, what he had to do to win, but it wasn't really all that impressive of a performance. I have to take the Seattle Seahawks to win this game. The Seahawks are a 1.5 point favorite. They should cover, and I do like them to win outright. I don't trust Jared Goff. You don't know what Jared Goff you're going to get. He's just consistently inconsistent. 1 week he's good, 1 week he's bad. He plays good against good teams. He plays bad against teams that he has no business playing bad against. I like Seattle to win the game. Last game we have the 11-3 Buffalo Bills taking on the New England Patriots. I like the Buffalo Bills to pull off the win here, even though I am going to take the New England Patriots with the under. Even though it seems like the New England Patriots don't have anything to play for, I still think that they're going to make this a competitive game, and I do think that the Buffalo Bills win this game, but I'm taking the New England Patriots to cover with the under. So this is it for my NFL Week 16 picks and predictions.